This is my life, my passion, my life's project to do the work that I do, to see the animals that we manage to change the lives of every day. This is a labour of love for me and a passion and a huge project within my life. And my past experience and jobs prior to this were nothing compared to what I do now.
Morning guys, enjoying the weather this morning?
I go through life now, and it's quite a bizarre thing to say, but I prefer animals to humans. The fact that you know where you stand with animals and being able to get them fit and healthy again to be released is a huge part and a very emotional journey that we have to take up on every day.
I'm a bit nervous. A lot of people get up for their pets in the morning. Being here, it's like having 300 pets. Caring for stuff that can't look after itself gives you a real sense of purpose in your life. There's a reason to get up in the morning, there's a reason to come to work, knowing that if you don't do that, things are going to suffer for it. A lot of what we do here is giving animals a better life. So the sanctuary was originally a bird and wildlife gardens, and then one day in the 70s a member of public phoned up saying, we found this seal pup, is there anything you can do with it? So they brought it here, and initially they put it in a little tub and they built a pool for her, and she lived her entire life here, and so she was the start of the seal sanctuary. And once we took her in, we thought, you know what, we're going to get the facilities for more seals. And they just kept coming. Once they started, they didn't stop coming. Are you coming then, guys? Who's coming? Donna! Come on, Donna! You be careful, Willie. Come on, over here. Good boy. Boy. Come out, Donna. Come on. That's hello. So we've got 9 resident seals here, ones that we've not been able to release back into the wild. 5 of them are grey seals, 4 of them are common seals. They're a really fun group of seals. They really interact really well together. We've got a few really nice friendship groups, particularly with the male common seals. They're really good friends. You'll often catch them blowing bubbles at each other in the water. They'll thrash about and charge all over the place. And it's really nice to see them there, knowing that they're not going to come into any trouble that they would in the wild. You look at a seal, they look back at you, and you can understand each other. They're so intelligent, very similar to dogs in terms of their sort of behaviour, their temperament. They're characters. Every single seal I've ever met, and I've met a lot over the years, they've all been characters, they've all been individual personalities, and they've all left a lasting impression on me.
A fundamental part of what we do for conservation is the rescue and rehab of pinniped seals that come into our centre on a daily basis. And they can come in for various different reasons, and they go through this process stage of our hospital rehab. Right, we have a new pup in our dry pen. Yep. It's about 40 pounds in weight, needs to be tube fed today and given meds. If you're okay if I restrain the seal,
yep.
If you're happy to do the tubing and administer meds,
yes,
we can go from there.
Brilliant. The other day we got a young common pup in. He's got quite a heavy parasite burden, so he's got a lot of worms, and that leaves him very dehydrated. Sometimes they need some additional fluids being put back into them to help them recover from that dehydration, from that malnourishment.
He's very cross
very
today.
Cross.
It's okay, we're doing this for your own good. Some of the experiences that we've had over the years, seeing the injuries and the pain and suffering that some of these seals that have come into our centre being in is heartbreaking. And each individual animal that comes in has a different emotion. Our biggest thing is we want to be able to ease their suffering, to get them out of pain and to see to their injuries just as you would one of your own children. Go slightly loose. Perfect. You like that, don't you? One more? One more? There you go. That's it. That's it. A lot of public that come into zoos in general these days don't realise the impact that we have on our natural earth. And again, it's educating the children, the young conservationists of tomorrow, and make them into budding Greta Thunbergs or David Attenboroughs of the world, in hope that they can learn from our mistakes.
The one that sticks out the most to me was a young grey seal pup who had swum through a loop of fishing wire, some microfilament, whatever they call it, and he got stuck in it and he'd continued growing around this wire, and it dug in about 2 inches deep into both of his shoulders. It was really infected and he was in agony. We had to obviously cut it off him. It took about 3 months for those wounds to heal fully, but that seal is back in the wild now. 50% of all plastic in the ocean is from fishing equipment. There's about 500,000 tonnes of it lost to sea a year. The number one thing people can do is consider eating less fish, eating fish that they've either caught themselves from sustainably sourced places, because the commercial fishing is ruining the oceans.
Have you put any extra stock out at the moment?
I've filled all shelves up, love. Ice cream machine's turned on. Originally, I'm from Sheffield, but I spend most of my time down in Mablethorpe with my wife, who suffers from an illness. But with the fresh air down on the East Coast and the flatness, it enables her to have a quality of life. But in between, I've managed to get involved with the Seal Sanctuary, and I've been helping out for the last 2 years, not only in the cafe, but also preparing food and everything for the animals in the morning, so when the workers come, they can get straight on with the jobs. Been doing much all your last couple of days off? Where I worked before, we was always encouraged to give something back to the community or do charity work in other ways, which we did while we were still at work. I've always loved animals, and for me to do this is a dream. It's a dream job. There you go. Come and have some dinner. I can't praise everybody enough who works here. That's a good lad. You see a different side to things like, and the work that they put in and the care and attention is second to none. It's a job they don't do for money, they do it for love. It's hard to put into words, but it just makes you feel so good and relaxed, and you're in a great atmosphere. It makes me up for the rest of the day. I could go home on an eye every day, and it's worth it. As I say, and I also feel like I've given something back to the community, even though it's like with animals, but not with other people, which I would help anybody anyway.
Sounds like you're a very caring person.
I am. I like to think I'm a very caring person. I'll help anybody. Breakfast is served.
Earlier today, we were able to finally release the last grey of the season. He came into us from a distressed member of public who had called us onto our main beach, which is just walking distance to us. He had been there for a couple of days, wasn't looking too great, was coughing quite a lot. So a possible case of an infestation of worms, which could lead on to various different other issues from pneumonia and lung issues.
This one came in sort of April, May time, which is a little bit out of season for them. It was very long and thin, this seal, rather than round and fat like they should be. We treated him for his worms, we've nursed him back to health, we've made him nice and fat. And he's been in our pre-release pool for a little while, he's gotten really good at swimming. You coming, buddy? There you go. Got some lovely mackerel for you this afternoon. Come on.
The wonderful beauty of these animals that come in, they're very inquisitive. They love to play around, and to the public eye, they are cute and cuddly, but they can be very dangerous. They could come in from worms, from lacerations to sadly broken jaws. They can have mouth infections. Everything that we see has to be medically checked by a vet, and we can then gauge what medication it needs to be on. It's had a huge cost to the centre as well, and the charity. An average seal can cost up to about £2,000 for the full rehab of that particular animal, and to see it processed through the stages to be released again.
So Dennis, if you restrain the seal first, if you can then go and restrain the back end to hold it more secure for me and Clem. If you can then help me to open the flippers, clean the area, and then we'll get the tag in, make sure there's no sharp edges. Then we'll move away, Katie move away, Dennis get off the seal, get the seal in the crate, get it released back into the wild.
Happy?
Happy, yeah.
All know what we're doing?
Yeah. Let's go
Awesome,
get crating up.
let's go.
Yeah. Perfect.
Whilst we're going through this process, we have to crate every seal up into a wired cage, one for their own protection as well as our staff on site. Because of it being so stressful, they almost are like backed up into a corner. He went through the stages very well. So we were able to tag him today, which we do with every seal that comes on site. So if he does manage to go out to sea and ends up at another centre, we have a full track record of his hospital stay at our centre that we can pass on and give him the correct information to assess.
Your main issue when you're trying to restrain a seal, be it a really tiny sick pup or a really big aggressive kind of teenage seal, is their mouth. As long as you're keeping yourself away from that mouth, you can load a seal up. They don't like it, so we only do it when we are picking them up, in which case they're really tiny usually, and we'll wrap them in a towel, or loading them up to leave, in which case we use a really big, strong wire crates, and we've got mats to help herd them in. We try and make it their choice as much as possible, making it a nice exit for them to go through, shut the exit once they're in the crate, so we try not to force them to do anything. Right, yeah, so I'm just getting the board out of the way. I've got a broom.
We have to make sure that they're not flailing about and injuring themselves whilst we're transporting them down to the ocean to be able to release them back into the sea.
Perfect. All loaded up and ready to go.
Seeing a seal that we've had for quite a while go back to sea is always rewarding, but because this one came in so slender, so thin, it was quite nice seeing him going out and really seeing that difference when he's kind of on the back of the truck. He was 140 pounds, which is a really good weight.
think us as humans can never comprehend what's going through certain animals' minds. It's such an unusual, bizarre, scary ride. It is going to be stressful on the animal, and it's our jobs to try and alleviate that the best we can and comfortably put them back out where they belong.
Just on that side of that one. And so hopefully we'll head straight off.
Come on then.
There we go, good boy.
There you go.
I mean, there isn't anything like it. You can't describe it until you've seen it. The sun sparkling across the sea, and this seal is going back to where it belongs. And a seal, they want to be in water, and there's only so much water we can provide them in captivity. It is freedom. I tear up quite often still. I've released hundreds of seals at this point, and some of them really get to me. It's releasing your baby and trusting that it's going to be okay out there. It feels like sending a teenager off to university. It's what you're supposed to be doing, and I've got to trust you to do it, but it doesn't mean I'm not scared about what's going to happen to them.
I remember the first time I released my first seal back into the ocean, and it was a very emotional scene to be able to see, and never something I ever thought I would be in a position to be able to do.
Working with animals is definitely what I want to do for the rest of my life. I've never quite been sure exactly how I'm going to end up settling, but I can't imagine not working with seals.
Planet Earth is our home, and we must protect it at all costs. And we have to educate our children to learn from our mistakes going forward into the future.